You got 30% of the vote. You were having an effect. You made mad as hell. They knew that you'd started the Constitution Party. Yeah. They knew that you were somebody who was taking action and getting things done. You'd already made some big films, had a lot of other successes.
Right.
So they were trying to recruit you. And didn't it come down to the point of, hey, we are here to recruit you, and don't worry, your chip's going to say, don't mess with us. This guy's don't touch.
Yeah, yes, that did happen. I was definitely being recruited, but it's more subtle than that.
Well, in your words, just go through the process, and then what he said.
Well, what it is remember, we were friends, and we used to come to my house a lot. We'd have dinner, we'd talk, and he'd tell me about business investments, how you get involved in, or they would help me with this business investment or that business investment. And was I interested in joining the Council on Foreign Relations? I would have to get a letter to join them, but was I interested in that? And, just stuff, leading you on. And I used to say to him that I never really did that because that wasn't where I was coming from. As much as I like you, Nick, your ways and my ways, we're on the opposite side of the fence. I don't believe in enslaving people,
And he would come back with, oh, I do? Or?
Well, it would be more like,
It's better for them.
Well, it's more like, how do I put it? It was like, what do you care about them? What do you care about those people? What difference does it make to you? Take care of your own life. Do the best you can for you and your family. What do the rest of the people mean to you? They don't mean anything to you. They're just serfs. They're just people. It was just a lack of caring, and that's just not who I was. It was just sort of like cold, it was just like cold, and I used to say to him, what's the point of all this? You have all the money in the world you need. You have all the power you need. What's the point? What's the end goal? And he said the end goal is to get everybody chipped, to control the whole society.
This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, starting at 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And we are seeing in real time everything that these devils are planning for. They said it to Aaron Russo in that interview, before they I believe they killed him, but they revealed to him their plans, which is all prophetic, that Revelation 13th chapter, man, 16 on down. So first and foremost, before I get started, I want to thank Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakakadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS who teach and rule well, who taught me this truth. Salutation, you brothers and sisters that are out there listening and learning, fighting this good fight of faith. And salutation, my fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. To you all, I want to say shalom. Excuse me, and I hope and pray this lesson be edifying to the elect. So, I came across this article and, a couple other articles and, just watching, as we're commanded to do, to be watchmen. Let's get that real quick. Ezekiel 3 and 17, and it reads, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. So we're commanded to give warning of these, of what this devil is up to, man. So, of course, they're going to come subtly, as the scriptures say, they are more subtle than any beast of the field, talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. So they're going to come in peace, in safety, and but then sudden destruction shall come upon the people that trust in him, man. You know, as one of my favorite scriptures now, once since I heard it. Isaiah. Was it Isaiah? Was it Isaiah or Ezekiel? (36:6), and it reads, "Lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt," right? So the scriptures say, "Woe unto them that go down to Egypt for help. Whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh king of Egypt to all that trust in him," man. So it's going to be destruction to any of you Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that trust in this devil, man. It's going to be destruction to you, man. You know, and the one of the major prophecies that, you know, we are watching out for to pop off is indeed that MO to the TV, man, the mark of the beast, you know, and it's all the framework, the infrastructure is already here, and it's been here for a few years now. They're just getting the people acclimated to seeing it, you know. So, matter of fact, before I read this article, because this is what it's all about, is everybody going digital, you know. So let me play this clip, and I just want to go scroll through these. I'm not going to play them, but just scroll through these different titles, right? So let's play this clip right here.
And Doug.
Goddamn commercials. There we go.
Chris.
Hello.
How are you, Racer?
Good, you okay?
Yeah, not bad. 77 pound 3 pence, yeah?
Yes, that's right, yes. Okay. Doesn't work? Oh, there we go.
How do you do it?
Magic.
Huh?
Magic.
Ah, magic.
And they're gonna paint that bullshit as something cool, man. You know? But in actuality, what that is that's you pledging allegiance. Anybody that takes that is pledging allegiance to Esau and the beast, man. You know? That's what that all goes into. And they're rolling everything out, you know, in a way of convenience, man. You know? To make people believe that it's a good thing for them. So this is from Natural News, and it was published today, April 2nd, 2025, the hopeful year of deliverance to the nation of Israel, the elected nation of Israel, and the hopeful year of destruction and judgment to Esau Edom, the so-called white man, as coined by the beloved Apostle Tahar. And it reads, Europe's euro 1.3 billion euros digital wallet. The price of convenience is privacy and over identification, the cost. Let's read some of this. So it says the EU's 1.3 billion European digital identity wallet aims to centralize personal, medical, and financial data for 450 million citizens by 2030. And you know, they already been talking about that Agenda 2030, you know, and brothers have been saying it through the spirit and power Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. You know, if you plan on having this Agenda 2030, that means you have to be already putting things into play before that time. So that means that they gotta, you know, move quickly, you know, in order to try try to accomplish their enterprise, man. So these are the times that we're living in. Everything is geared towards this 2030 and, different things. And Revelation 12 and 12 comes into factor. They're going to come down with great wrath because they know that they have but a short time, man. These devils know that their time is short. So they got to move quick, fast, and in a hurry, man. It says raising concerns about privacy erosion and loss of online anonymity, and that's been another topic. These different countries and politicians and what have you have been saying that people need to be identified with their their online tag. Like when you go on YouTube, if you make a comment, it should be directly linked to your face and identity and address, and really just making it easy for them to target you. Anybody that goes against what what the powers that be, the wicked, Esau, Edom, right? The ones who the earth was given into the hands of, right, by Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, right, for a short season. The ones that go against them, right, they could be easily targeted and punished, because that's really what that's about, right? They say it in a way of safety and to prevent fraud, and I'll get into that in this lesson, Lord's will, in a little bit. But that's what the guise of peace is, how these devils always come, man. Always, and it from your average Joe Schmo fucking Edomite on the street to these elites, man, they're all the fucking same. But the difference between these crackers outside my window right now and the crackers in the so-called elites is the elites have power, like real power to really do some damage out here, man. Whole countries to be destroyed and bombed and different things of that nature, man. Whole groups of people being damn near eradicated, man. That's the difference. This average, peon fucking Edomite, might take out a Jake or two, get a slap on the wrist, as a cop or whatever, and then get a fucking promotion to captain or sergeant or some shit. That's low level shit, man. These fucking elites, man, they'll wipe out fucking hundreds of thousands of people, man. In one swoop, man. That's the power that was given to them from Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, man. And we can't forget that, what the Georgia Guidestones said, that they want to maintain humanity under 500 million, man. So at the same time, let me see if I can find that. 1 second. Here we go. That's one example. This goddamn demon, Billy Gates of hell, funded MIT injection will offer years of birth control with just one shot. So as they're trying to, eradicate, people off the planet, they're also pushing to keep people from procreating. How convenient, right? Where is that article? Let me see. There was one. Well, this is another one. 14 nations signed WEF treaty to ban natural conception in 2030. There goes the 2030 again. And these demon Klaus Schwab, Cotton Swab, at the forefront. Him and his minion Noah Harari. Let me see what else. Where is it at? There was one in particular I'm thinking about. There's so much happening. Slovakia. Damn, I don't know if I can find it. Here we go. So this is also from the People's Voice. It says the sperm of CV juiced men don't swim. Infertility clinics report. So you got the men's sperm don't swim, which obviously that to swim to the egg of a woman, and then you have the infertility of women due to this, reports have been saying at the same time, man. You telling me that this is not a orchestrated attack, by these devils, man? It's all linking to the same thing, man. To get rid of the population, man. So let's continue on. Critics warn, let's get that real quick. So I just thought about it. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We are not ignorant of what you're doing, you piece of shit. Fucking Esau. We know what you're up to, man. Us sincere brothers, that have been watching you like the fucking rabbit dog that you are, attempting to, accomplish your enterprise, man. Salakia. So let's see, where we at? Critics warn of over-identification where users may surrender excessive personal data for routine transactions, creating a real-name internet and shifting control to centralized authorities, right? So they want your whole... You basically have... When you go on the internet, what these devils want is you gotta sign in. You gotta... They gotta know who the hell you are. So as soon as you decide to make a comment, transaction, or whatever, it's already linked directly to you. So if you do something wrong, they can immediately punish you for it, right? And if you go, you play along, right? Then they can maybe reward you or whatever. That's what this is all about. It says centralized data storage heightens risk of identity theft, fraud, or surveillance, especially if security measures fail, highlighted by past breaches like Estonia's national ID system. The wallet's persistent identifiers could enable unprecedented tracking by governments and corporations, mirroring dystopian models like China's social credit score. And this is exactly what these devils want. Let's see, it says, while the EU promotes digital sovereignty and efficiency, critics argue that without strict safeguards, the system could normalize coercive adoption and undermine democratic freedoms, echoing historical privacy protections. Let's see, it says, as civil society groups warn of over-identification, the EU DI wallet could force users to surrender far more information than necessary for routine transactions. Critics like privacy advocates and NATO partner integration expenses emphasize the system's potential to create a real-name internet where anonymity vanishes. Individuals shouldn't have a choice between convenience and privacy, argues one. Security breaches or misuse could expose sensitive details from health records to financial credentials, funneling power to centralized authorities at the expense of individual control. And that's what it's all about. The commission defends selectivity, arguing users can remain in control, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so they're going to, try to make it seem like it's not as bad as it really is. So let's see some of the recent news, for any brothers and sisters that haven't heard, DJ Trump, Mr. Executive Order, he's been signing them shits like there's no tomorrow. Recently signed another one. And this is from the White House. This is directly from whitehouse.gov. It says modernizing payments to and from America's bank account. Executive orders March 25th, 2025. So basically a week ago, last week. It says, by authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. Section 1, purpose, the continued use of paper-based payments by the federal government, including checks and money orders flowing into and out of the United States General Fund, which might be thought of as America's bank account, imposes unnecessary costs, delays, and risk of fraud, lost payments, theft, and inefficiency. Mail theft complaints have increased substantially since the CV demic. Historically, Department of the Treasury checks are 16 times more likely to be reported lost or stolen, returned undeliverable, or altered than an electronic funds transfer. Maintaining the physical infrastructure and specialized technology for digitizing paper records cost the American taxpayer over $657 million in fiscal year 2024 alone. So there you go, man. You know, the stage is being set. You know, they're saying that, paper checks and paper money isn't the way to go. Digital is the way to go. That's the way we gotta conduct ourselves. That's the way we have to move forward in the future. And this is from the World Economic Forum, the WEF, published a day after that, March 26, 2025. It says the fourth industrial revolution. Let's get that real quick. What's that mean? Let's see if I can. So it says Industry 4.0, also known as the fourth industrial revolution, refers to the 21st century rapid technological advancements in manufacturing industrial processes. It involves integrating intelligent digital technologies like AI, big data, robotics, and automation. The term was coined at the 2011 Hanover Industrial Fair in Germany, right? So it's all about integrating intelligent digital technologies. And what does it mean to integrate? Of an instrument indicating the mean value or total. Let's see. Integrate. Combine one thing with another so that they become a whole, right? So they're linking man with machine. That's what these devils are doing, man. Well, that's what they're attempting to do. They're gonna get a lot of people, but they're not gonna get the elect, man. All praise to Yahawashi for the remnant. Let's see. Now this is from World Economic Forum. It says navigating the digital safety journey, a guide to implementing interventions. So I'm just gonna read the first couple points. Is it right here? Yeah, right here. It says, as digitalization accelerates across industries and societies, the prevalence and complexity of online harms continue to rise. The digital landscape is no longer confined to traditional social media platforms, but extends across e-commerce, right? Which e-commerce goes into electronically buying, right? Sites, gaming environments, messaging services, and the broader metaverse. This expansion includes new vulnerabilities, making it imperative to develop robust, adaptable, and proactive digital safety interventions. Now, you hear the language here. It's imperative that they develop robust, adaptable, and proactive digital safety interventions. Now, what does that mean? Ways that they can control. It's all about control with these devils, as I had told my wife before. Like, why would, she asked questions, why are they doing this? Why would they do that? Just like in the opening clip, Aaron Russo asked, well, what is the end goal of this? And it's to control. It's all about control. Why? Because these devils have a God-like complex. Let's get that, man. What's that, 14? There we go. Isaiah 14 and 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, the wicked, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. What did the Most High say though? Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Right? So your shameful spewing is already being brought upon you. But once you completely go down, and you elites, which are the first fruits of slavery, you know, the our children, in the kingdom, we're gonna say, hey, this is the devils, that were ruling over the earth, and they, you're gonna be in your true nature as the damn knuckle draggers that you are, as the red dogs, filthy animals that you are, and our children gonna be like, this is a man, him? No way. But that's the power of Bahasham, Yahawashi, man. He setteth up one. Let me see if I can find it. Set it up. Bring down. There it goes. Psalm 75 and 7. But the Most High is a judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. Right? And the Most High, Daniel, let me get that real quick, just for any new listeners. Daniel 4 and 17. And it reads, This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the Holy One of, and the demand by the holy word, by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. He setteth up over it the bases of men. And who's the basis of men? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the self-proclaimed white man. So these devils are attempting, to completely control everything and to be as gods on earth, man. And which is going to be to no avail. It says this expansion introduces new vulnerabilities, making it imperative to develop robust, adaptable, and proactive digital safety interventions, from the spread of disinformation and the circulation of child abuse material to online harassment, hate speech, privacy violations, and financial fraud. Digital threats pose significant risks to individuals, businesses, and and society at large. So you see that they're setting it up, man. They're setting it up. This is Daniel 8 and 25, and it reads, and through his policy, right? This, if I'm not mistaken, this is during the time of Antiochus. But this is applies to this very time as well, because those same devils have came back, in this time, these same Edomites. And through his policy, right, they're setting up laws, as we were, going into, right? They're already putting forth, so let me see if I can get it to refresh. There we go. They're already, setting the groundwork, Let's get that real quick. Isaiah 10. It reads, Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, right? So they're over here putting forth these unrighteous decrees, but they're hiding under the guise of convenience, man. Look at that, 441. Bahasham, Yahawashi, Lord's will, we of that number, brothers and sisters. You sincere brothers out there. They're putting forth these unrighteous decrees, to ensnare the people, man. Their mind is full of snares and traps, man. That's what these devils are all about. You know, they let's get that. Yeah. 65. 64. I think it's 64. There we go, 64. 64 and I started at 2. Isaiah 64 and 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. And the perfect is the Israelites, the elect of the nation of Israel. Suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. All of this is a snare, man. This is the snare that these devils are doing, man. This is a trap under the guise of helping you. Just like if you have we talk about it at camp from time to time. You know, you go and fishing. I like to fish. You know, you put your bait on the hook. You put the type of bait that the fish likes, the fish that you're trying to catch. You know, you don't put something that the fish don't like. You put something that's enticing, something that's favorable, something that's convenient, right? The fish, you know, maybe he was, you know, picking at, you know, gnats and you know, maybe ate a fly or two, and then you put, you know, but his preference is a nice juicy worm, you know, and that's what you put on that hook, and, you know, might give him, you know, another treat or two that he might like on top of that, depending on what fish you're trying to catch. You know, if it likes, you know, a particular vegetable or, you know, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Different fish, you know, like different things, you know, or like a smaller fish or something like that, you know, depending on what, like I said, depending on what you're trying to catch, you know, but you tailor it to entice your prey. So these devils are laying snares for the people to entice them. So, you know, we could think about, I was explaining to my wife the other day, you know, the whole economy is crashing. People aren't making any money. You know, everything is more and more expensive. People are losing their jobs left and right, government jobs and everything in between. Businesses are closing. AI is taking over. Robots are taking people's jobs. More and more drones are being prevalent. You know, more and more self-driving cars are being pushed to the forefront, which is going to take away, you know, Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and Uber Eats and all that. Eventually, according to, you know, with these devils, Amazon drivers, the U.S. Postal Service, you know, all these, you know, even the trash people, you know, the men that pick up the garbage, man. You know, they could have a damn robots do that shit. So what's going to be left is the people, as Elon Musk put, people won't need to have jobs because they will be able to receive universal basic income, which is what all this, you know, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. This is what all this is leading to, right? To control the people. So if you have a devil like Billy Gates of hell over there owning majority of the farmland here in Babylon, and he's a pusher of GMO foods and all this different thing, so he's controlling the food system. Then you have people controlling the devil controlling the water. Now you can't even go out and work to get any money. You have to depend on the government to give you money. What does that mean? If you don't comply, you don't eat, you don't drink, which means you perish. That's pretty much what these devils are pushing, man. That's why it's imperative for you sincere brothers and sisters to lean on, right? Trust in the stat. Let's get that. How's it go? Holy One of Israel. Let's see. There it goes. No longer. There we go. No longer stay. Stay upon him who smote. There we go. Isaiah 10 and 20. And it shall come to pass that in the day that the remnant of Israel, right? The water Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi for the remnant, the elect of the nation of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Israel, shall no more stay, meaning to lean upon, to trust in, upon him that smote them. Who's the one that smotes us, to strike us, to damage us, to what's the word I'm looking for? Oppress us. Esau, Edom, so-called white man, but shall stay to trust and to lean upon the Holy One, Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, the Holy One of Israel in truth, man. And that's the times that we're coming into, man. To trust in Yahawah, Bahasham Yahawashi, and not trust in this goddamn devil, man. Let's see, where was I at, man? Salakia. Here we go. Let's finish on this. Psalm 64 and 5. They encourage themselves in the evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see him? See them. And the Lord sees you damn devils, man. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep, man. You know? But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded, man. So you devils are going down, man. Let's see. Let's get a little bit more and I'll wrap it up. Let's see. Got that. And this is all a part of their plan, man. So this is from Wikipedia. And this was a film that Aaron Russo did before he passed. It says America Freedom to Fascism. Let's get what fascism means really quick. Let's see if I can find it right here. Let's just look it up. Fascism. Fascism is a far-right authoritarian and ultra-nationalistic political ideology and movement characterized by dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition. Yeah. And you know what, it makes perfect sense because dictatorial leader, and now you have these reports of, you know, Trump basically going against the Constitution of you're only supposed to have be president 2 times, and he wants to run for president a 3rd term. President for 3rd term. Let's see. Yep, 2 days ago. Presidents can be elected twice, excuse me. Trump could try ends runs around that. What? Trump could try and runs around. That just sounds weird. Let's see. So they're saying he can't, but this is what he wants. He says Trump teases, USA Today, Trump teases 3rd term, high approval numbers. What do the polls show? Trump sounds dead serious about a third term no matter what's in the Constitution. See? So this is what Aaron Russo was speaking about in this movie. And and Lord's will I get a chance to watch it. It seems very interesting. So it says America Freedom to Fascism is a 2006 American film by filmmaker and activist Aaron Russo covering a variety of subjects that Russo contends are detrimental to Americans. Topics include the Internal Revenue Service, right, IRS, the income tax, the Federal Reserve, national ID cards, the Real ID Act, and the brother just did a video about that, recently. I think it was yesterday. About the Real ID. I think it's in May that everybody has to have the Real ID, and human implanted RFID tags. So and he spoke about this, back in 2006, probably even before that. And the apostles and elders been speaking about that for even before that, before YouTube. So it's here, man. It's here. And any false prophets out there, man, teaching otherwise, man, the Lord's gonna destroy you, man. The ones that aren't giving warning to our people. Look at this. This is digital. I just typed in digital ID in Google. And in news, this is what came up 3 hours ago. Spain launches MIDNI National Digital ID app. So why is everything going digital? Because they want everything linked to a digital system so they can track, trace, monitor, and punish social credit scores, carbon credits, whatever, to the people with only a keystroke, man. If you don't comply, they could just take away all your benefits. Your whole life is disrupted just like that, man. It's all about control, man. It says, let me see. Revolutionary digital identity platform targets 1 billion unbanked wise key games changing. Okay. Spain rolls out. We've seen that. Digital driver's license. House makers consider bill to put IDs on your smartphone. In Minnesota, New Mexico businesses slow to accept mobile ID programs. So it's all geared towards going digital. Idaho Capitol Sun. Digital ID card driver's license option bill narrowly passes Idaho House. Greece introduces personal identification numbers. Okay. So there you go, man. TSA pre-check touchless ID. So everything's going digital, man. And they got at the TSA, they got the face scanning, on where is it at? Here they got the Palm Pay, with Amazon. That was last year. Got right here, forgot your phones and cards, pay with a C-hip, man. ID, wallet, keys, all in your hand. Sweden moves into the future with micro C-hipping, man. So they're making it seem like it's so cool and convenient and all this bullshit. But what does the Lord say about this, man? What does the Lord say about, how does the Lord feel about this, man? Because anybody that takes that C-hip, and we're going to get that, man. And I'll end off on that. So let's get, do I have it up here already? There we go. Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, right, the wicked, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma, right? The Greek word for mark is charagma, in their right hand or in their foreheads. And how convenient that Elon Musk, Mr. Neuralink, is the co-president, man. Everything's lining up. And that no man might buy or sell all of these. Look at this. Everything's geared. It's right. It's in your face. At the end it shall speak and not lie. and that no man might buy or sell, save, meaning except he that had the charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, man. And that's the time that we're living in. And we are fastly approaching when these devils are going to come down with great wrath, and they're going to, mandate it, man. This is a penalty for taking that sea hip. Revelation 14:9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, because that's what this is about, man. The Lord, your heavenly Father, said, thou shalt have no other gods before me, man. So if you take that micro sea hip, you're pledging allegiance to the devil and the image of the beast in the beast system, man. And Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi are a jealous power, man. We belong to the Lord. We don't belong to no damn base level knuckle dragging Edomites, lice head filled ass niggas that only reason that they're in power is because they was given power, but they're weak as fuck. If they wasn't blessed with the sword, they wasn't conquering shit. And that's facts, man. If you put the nation of Israel against the nation of Esau, Edom, hey, short work, man. You see it all day on World Star, man. Esau call it Jake a nigga. Nigga give Esau get folded quickly, man. I've seen even big ass Edomites that be working out get folded quick by a little skinny Jake. But like it says in Genesis, when Esau and Jacob were in the womb, it said one nation shall be stronger than the other. The stronger nation is Jacob, man. These Edomites are weak as fuck, man. So the Lord had to bless them with the sword, man. So if you Israelites out there, if you choose to trust in oppression and trust in your oppressor and go down to Egypt for help and take that sea hip, right? This is the penalty for pledging allegiance to the devil, man. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his charagma in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture, straight, no mercy, into the cup of his indignation, which means righteous anger, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstones in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, man. So that's the judgment to anybody that trusts in this devil, that go down, and believe in this devil and all this bullshit that they're pushing, man. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to report on this. In the news, these devils are, pushing towards their enterprise, and they're gonna get a lot of people, but they're not gonna get the elect, man. The sincere brothers and you few sisters, man, of the 1/3 that are truly believe in Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and have faith that we will be delivered from these devils, man. So I hope and pray this lesson was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to thank Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi for putting the spirit on me to do this lesson. And I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakakadash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of GMS who teach and rule well, who taught me this truth. Salutations, you brothers and sisters that are out there listening and learning, fighting this good fight of faith. Keep fighting, keep striving, keep pushing. We're almost out of here. And salutations, my fellow brethren that are pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. To you all, I want to say shalom. I want to say a Baba Ball and Kwam Yasharala. Hey, shalom. To the next one.